should we start? Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. Hi guys! So I have RN Pa. Do you like to go by PaDouChee or Pa?
I'm Pa for sure.
Okay, and then RN Nina.
Hi.
And so I will kind of just introduce me first and I'll let them introduce themselves. So I currently work on the cardiac unit. As you guys know, I've been an RN for a year and a couple months now. I graduated from Winona State University.
So my name is Pa. I'm a new grad. I went to Gus Davis Adolphus College. I work at United Hospital. I'm on a cardiac step-down unit. I've been there for about 4 months.
And then my name is Nina. I graduated from Winona State University with Lib. I work at Mayo Clinic in Rochester on a general medical unit with a specialty in hospice and palliative care. And I've been on there for 1.5 years.
As you guys can see, my boyfriend's aunt, she made us like super nice cheese and crackers. I think you call like the charcuterie board. Charcuterie. Okay, she made us charcuterie boards. And we got wine here too. So yeah, let's just go ahead and get started. But let's first do a cheers together.
Cheers.
We haven't ate much, so I don't know how this is gonna go, but
Cheers. Lightweights.
So these are the questions that you guys asked us. We had to limit it down because some questions were repeat questions. But I will start with our first question. So how did you figure out what you wanted to specialize in and how did you narrow it down?
Honestly, for me, after I got done with my nursing program, I kind of liked every clinical that I had. My history is a little complicated, but then I actually got offered an oncology position first. So I was getting all ready for that, and I ended up in cardiac. But my long-term goal, I do want to work with babies. So
yeah, I think you told me that.
Yeah, maybe I don't know in the future. Going to the NICU or something.
I feel like that'd be really fun. So I currently work on the cardiac unit too, a different hospital from Pa. And I think I always wanted to do cardiac. I know Nina and I took like classes together and I always told her that cardiac was just so interesting to me. So that's kind of where I felt like, okay, this is something I want to do. But honestly, I don't know if I'm going to stay in cardiac forever. I feel like I want to kind of expand and see what's out there.
I work in a general medical unit with a hospice specialty. That was not my first option. I actually wanted to work as an ICU nurse up in the cities. But literally during the time I was applying, every single place was refusing me. And ICU was where I wanted to start off first. One position that I saw open at Mayo was a general medical position. I applied there, got accepted right away, and I figured I might as well just get my feet wet and get experience in. I am planning on leaving soon to go into the ICU.
So next question is, what's it like being a new nurse when the pandemic hit? I was an ICU nurse first, but once I got hired, it turned into a COVID unit. At that time, COVID was so new. Everybody was just freaking out. I was scared, but it was something that really taught me a lot of things. So like I got really good with my COVID patients, really good with respiratory patients. As a pandemic nurse, I guess you can say, it really makes you a lot stronger.
And then when I started as a new nurse, the way I got trained, I was trained like the COVID way. Basically, the hospital, there were certain things that they did differently during COVID. So for example, for charting, I was trained to do the COVID charting. You only chart what stands out and what's significant.
I mean, Pa and Lib, they have had more of a direct exposure to COVID. I did not because we still had hospice patients on our unit. We prioritized them. We would have to treat every new patient as if they had COVID. So every admission, we'd have to gown up in the proper PPE and we'd have to swab them for COVID. And I just know during that time, policies were changing literally every 30 minutes. So we would be getting emails saying, oh, this changed, this changed, this changed. And because it's a virus that we knew so little about, everyone was scared to come to work.
Next question is, from your experiences, what kept you grounded as you were in nursing school and finishing up?
I'm gonna be munching and crunching.
Yes, you should eat some too, Pa.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I just feel weird eating when someone's talking.
Girl, it's okay.
We're literally grabbing grapes over
Yeah, I'm over here like crunching and munching, and Nina and I are almost done with this first cup, so with me here. So from my experiences as in nursing school, I just have to say I'm so thankful to have Nina there with me because we've been roommates since freshman year. And Nina was really motivated with studying and really had her shit together. And that really helped me throughout nursing school, having a buddy, and not even just having Nina, but also having like study group. As I was finishing up, I actually didn't get into the nursing program the first time I applied. So Nina and I actually applied together. She got in and I didn't get in. We legit were freaking crying that time. Like, we were freaking crying over me, okay? But I was like, Nina, you shouldn't be crying because you got into the nursing program. And it's like, but I want you there with me. And I was like, okay, that's true. But I just have to say that experience, it really taught me a lot. It made me a lot stronger. I did my research afterwards. I had backup plans for like backup plans. Like, that's how much I was prepared to not get accepted to another nursing school, but I accepted it. I don't know, everything happens for a reason, and you really just learn throughout school that, you know, when it's your time, then it's your time.
During nursing school, I think what really helps is being around people who are also motivated and ambitious. It also helped that Lib was there with me too. I mean, it's just because, you know, she's just as ambitious and she's just as hardworking, if not more than I am. Like, she devoted way more time than I did. It really helps to just surround yourself with people who are also ambitious. It's all a mentality thing, and I feel like it's just a personal barrier that people just have to get over.
I definitely agree. It would be my friends and my family keeping me grounded to be successful in nursing school. I did overcome a few milestones to get into my program. So for example, freshman year, you take all these science prerequisite courses, and I didn't do well in my biology class. The biology professor literally told me, you know, told little freshman Pa, you should probably change your major. That broke my heart. And as a freshman, like, that's the last thing you want to be told when you have your heart set on a career. So honestly, that really motivated me to try again. I had to apply again the following year. So for me, I was a 5th year student at my college to finish my program, but you know, it all worked out. Even though I didn't make it into the program, even though I had to retake classes, I think it's worth it.
I'm so glad that we have each other, you know, and you can tell that all of our experiences are so different. Pa, like, I feel like you're so resilient with everything you've gone through, like with what you told me. I feel like I will legit cry all the freaking time if that happened to me. Nina and I were driving today, we're like, I can't believe Pa's a nurse too. Like, we have a nursing friend with us now. Like, I'm just so proud of all of us. Honestly, it just takes a lot of yourself to really carry yourself back up. Pour us more wine so we can do a cheers to that. I'm so proud of us.
Cheers to being resilient.
Yes. Okay.
I feel like
I think just because I didn't eat, it's like I don't know if you guys noticed, but then in our group chat, like one of the first messages is about our CNA class when you guys were taking it at Century. Really? I think we were like freshmen or sophomores.
Oh, was it? Yeah. Yeah, okay, so we have this group chat together, and I created it to create this video, but we had previous messages. And I guess you actually read it. I didn't read it, but I guess we were talking about CNA. Dang, we freaking glowed up. Now we're freaking nurses. Like, I'm so proud of us. So tips or advice on how to prep for NCLEX? I don't know. I did so many things, y'all. Like, I guess I can start now, but I literally created a whole month worth of things that I needed to do. It was filled up with all the chapters and everything that I needed to cover. I didn't work at all during that month. I worked casual as a nursing assistant, actually, at my assisted living. So they were really flexible with that. That really helped me not working at the same time.
And I purposely gave myself a whole month just to literally live under a rock, lock my door, only come out to pee, poop, and eat. And I would just study in my room all day. We use ATI as one of our nursing assessment resources for preparing for the NCLEX. Every day I would do at least 100 to 150 practice questions online. I would just divide up the chapters per day. I did flashcards, I was using other resources, I was using UWorld.
I use UWorld, I use
Mark Clemic.
Oh yeah, Mark Clemic, I love him. It was so nice to just listen to him on Spotify going to work and stuff.
Yeah.
Or just driving.
And Kaplan, I think that's
Kaplan, that was good.
My biggest advice is to know your weaknesses when it comes to test taking. I didn't pass the first time. The second time, I really tried to think like what really went wrong. So I realized I wasn't really understanding the questions. I was obviously discouraged. Of course, again, now I'm like, am I meant to be a nurse? I came so far and can't even pass the test. Very like depressed and just really like thinking, wow, I don't know if I can do this.
Right.
It was really hard, but then at the same time, it motivated me to do better too.
I guess this goes into how did you study for T's?
I would definitely highly recommend figure out which nursing assessment organization is handling your TEAS test. Use their study guide for the TEAS test.
For me, I like to study writing notes repetitively and remembering it in my head. So that's how I study. Next question. So tell me the nastiest work-related story or weirdest thing a patient said to you. I mean, I guess I can start. I mean, I don't know. I can't think of the nastiest work-related story. I feel like so many nasty things happen that I'm used to it now. One of my patients had maggots coming out of his freaking legs.
Ew!
Yeah, but you know, that's pretty much what it is. But then the weirdest thing a patient said to me, I think it happened twice. You guys were obviously a lot older than me. A lot of my patients on my floor are like, they could be your grandpa. I don't know, but he was just like asking me if he can get my number and saying like, oh man, if only I wasn't married, I would ask for your number right now. And I'm just like, man, do you love your wife? Like, do you love your wife? I literally said that to him and he was like, of course I love my wife, but I'm just saying. And I'm just like, it just makes you feel weird because you're over here doing like personal cares on them and assessing them, like every spot you can think of, see you intimately, like that's just disgusting to me. On top of them being like as old as my grandpa. Like no thanks, but that happened twice to me. So I would say that's the weirdest encounters I had with my patients.
I would say the nastiest thing that happened to me, so we get a ton of patients who come in for like rectal bleeding. And I love how we're eating too. And
We're used to this.
so I found my patient like in a pool of like bloody poop. And I was like, oh shit, let's clean you up. So our gloves come up to like right here.
Ooh.
Like I was cleaning them up and like stool got all like, it was stool and blood like all over my arm. We ended up calling the emergency team because they were losing so much blood. And so I was like legit in the room with like blood on my arm. And the ICU doctors were like, what happened? I'm like, I don't know. Like, let me go wash this quick and I'll be right back.
I feel like as nurses, you have to do whatever you can for your patients.
I've been peed on, I've been puked on, I've been pooped on, I've been spit on, everything. Being puked on is pretty nasty, but I also think this is a really beautiful story. This patient, she had a miscarriage. She just felt so nauseous, and I remember during this time, she just vomited her whole meal. We were in the bathroom and she was just so exhausted. So as she's puking and I'm holding her because you know she's so exhausted from losing blood from the miscarriage. So I'm holding her as she's puking and there's no trash can by us. So she's just puking onto the floor and I'm holding her because I don't want her to, you know, pass out. So I've been puked on, but at the same time, like it didn't even bother me. I felt like I just in that moment I needed to support her in any way that I can. If anything, she was like more positive than I was, and it really inspired me. When I went back and she was apologizing, I was like, you know what, it's okay.
The question is asking, how do you guys react to crisis interventions with patients, and how do you prepare yourself for them? For me, I've dealt with rapid responses. I've dealt with my first code blue ever. I honestly don't think you can prepare yourself for these things. That patient is your patient. You really have to step back and remember that the doctor wants you to be there to answer questions. You know the patient the best. So that's one thing I've really learned. My code blue honestly was such a mess. We did compressions when we shouldn't even have done compressions. I wasn't the one who started, but it's just really hectic when everybody has their own opinion. Everybody's thinking otherwise and you're kind of there just observing, but you want to do things too. Like I would just say take a step back and really just talk to your doctor and see what they want to do.
I had 3 RRTs in a day. They were all during shift change, so it was all during inconvenient times. You know, like what Liv said, you can never prepare yourself. Like I feel like when it comes to RRTs, you just use so much brain power and it's so much critical thinking. You know, it's not like a textbook answer. It's not a test question.
Yeah.
It's an actual living human being. And if you don't act right away, if you don't make the right interventions, they could die. you still have to fill in the missing pieces and you still have to intervene when you can. Don't be discouraged because like you legit have like 8 other people in there. Sometimes it's okay to just take a step back, observe, and just be an extra helping hand.
I haven't had a rabbit or a cold blue as a nurse, knock on wood. But as a CNA, I have experienced quite a few. I remember one time, all I had to do was check a blood sugar during a stroke code, and like I was so nervous. But you know, like you said, there's so many people in the room. There's the rapid nurses, there's doctors, there's RT, there's lab. They're all trying to, you know, help. And then as a CNA, I was like, I need a blood sugar. Like, I remember it was so nerve-wracking. The first time I pricked, blood didn't come through because like I put it wrong with the wrong, I don't know. But then I was like, I'm a pro at blood sugars, but then when this happened, I was like, oh my gosh.
I was like, I promise I know how to take a blood sugar.
How was job searching for each of you like? Did the places you applied to make into consideration your experience you had, such as work and preceptorship and, you know, being a CNA?
So I was a CNA at North Memorial. I worked on a med-surg unit for about a year. During my the last month of school, I applied to a bunch of positions. So a lot of hospitals, they will have like these new grad positions. So they know that nurses are graduating and they want staff. I would suggest applying for these new grad programs. And don't be discouraged if they don't contact you right away. You are on their radar for sure. Because even when I didn't pass, I would still get recruiters to contact me.
We did do preceptorship, so that was like towards the end of nursing school, which really helped me. And then when it came to actually becoming a CNA, I actually worked in assisted living. Like that really helped me just do hands-on things, doing all those things that people are afraid to do. And I feel like a lot of hospitals, they don't require it, but they would like it if you were to have some type of experience, whether that's preceptorship or being a CNA, getting that experience and not being afraid to do those things.
Mayo Clinic, it's a very well-known hospital and it's ranked every year as the best hospital in the world. Not just in America, but in the world. The moment I apply is the moment the best hospital in the world reaches out to me. So I'm like, okay. What really helped was just having clinical associations with Mayo Clinic. And when I listed that on my resume, they saw that. And they also saw that I worked as a CNA at Mayo Charter House. I would highly recommend being a CNA. I just feel like you can tell the difference between a nurse who's had CNA experience and a nurse who hasn't had CNA experience.
Oh, for sure. So what is an advice you would give to someone who set their mind on going into the medical field, but as the year gets closer, they are not sure about what to do, what to get into. They are questioning it. Is it what they want? Will they fit in the field? Pretty much just doubting everything.
If you are truly doubting yourself, at that point, it's whether or not you're willing to take that risk. Because if you come in questioning and doubting yourself, then that will hinder you.
I feel like it's okay to question it at certain times. Like I said, when people come to me and ask me if this is what they want to do, are you doing it for the money? Are you doing it for your family? Or are you doing it for yourself? Like, is this genuinely what you want to do? It's really not worth it if you're not into it. I would question myself, like, is this even worth the tears, the studying, missing out on your social life? Is that worth it to you? And if it is, then keep going.
Think about like, do I see myself in this career? Do I see myself doing this every day? Because when you pick a career, you should really enjoy it and you should really love like the good and the bad. Even if nursing isn't for you, it could be something else.
We all have seen movies, we've seen the medical scenes and etc. How is it really like now that you are working as a nurse?
I was watching this one Grey's Anatomy scene where like the patient had to get coded and they were literally like flatlining. But at the same time, the other monitors showed that they were at 97% O2 and like his heart rate in like the 70s. I was like, what the heck is going on?
I guess he's dying then. I guess he's dying.
He was giving insulin and then he just put it right in the arm. I'm like, huh? Yeah, and I was like, that's not right.
What are you guys' ultimate nursing goals? What are some goals you have outside of nursing?
That I do not want to do bedside forever. I'm already having back issues. But I've been looking a lot into travel nursing. I'm I've always wanted to travel, and I feel like travel nursing would be perfect. It changes every day.
It does.
One day I'm like, oh, I wanna start a CNA class, and then one day it's like, oh, like I wanna try the ICU, and then one day it's like, can I be a provider? With nursing, the opportunities are endless, and I feel like I want to try everything.
The same thing as Paul. Like me and her and Nina, I've been talking and telling them like, I don't want to do bedside forever. Like she said, your back's gonna ache. It's physically and mentally draining so much. And honestly, I feel like I love being in the hospital. But I think right now, like I'm just trying to focus on getting my experience. There's so many things that I want to do. I've tried the ICU. I know that's not for me. I just want to do something more like long term where I can see myself feeling happy.
I do want to become a nurse anesthetist. I do want to go to grad school and get my doctorate in nurse anesthesia. I do have a plan B for myself. If I can't get into nurse anesthesia school, I will get my doctorate in nurse practitioner and become a provider that way.
Questions that I was wanting to ask Nina and Pa. I just want to ask, like, do you guys ever feel pressured to be held at a standard being a registered nurse? Like, I personally feel like I have to be held to a standard, but I don't know if you guys have to.
I agree. I will say yes and no. I feel like I'm always like in a professional mode, but there will be days when I'm with like family and friends where I'm like just definitely not nurse Pa.
I think I just asked that question too because like I think Nina and I going to the same program, they hammered us on social media. Like they'd be like, you better not post this because it's gonna ruin your whole life. And I feel like that really made me paranoid my whole freaking life.
We should all just normalize that nurses are people and nurses drink and they party.
True.
And they get drunk. And if you genuinely know you're not a bad person, then there's really nothing wrong with it. I know there was that whole ordeal about like a nurse posting up a bikini photo and so many nurses were like, oh my god, like she needs to cover up, she works for this facility, she's a nurse. But it's like, why would you care? Like, you're your own person. All about empowerment. It's nothing about judgment, you know?
Yeah. And it's like, I feel like people look up at nurses like you have to have your shit together, you're perfect, and you know everything and you're not gonna go through things yourself. This job is so rewarding, but at the same time, like, we're still human beings.
I just say, I have a very hard time putting on my nursing cap outside of work. Outside of work, I feel like I'm so slow and it takes me longer to process things. Unless I know someone's in trouble, then that's when I'll maybe be smart.
That is all the questions. Thank you guys for sending in your questions. It really sparked a lot of conversation with us, and it's just really nice to reconnect, especially considering that we all went to the same high school and are doing different things in our life now. I appreciate you guys both being here so much.
Thank you for everything